Snow fell like dust over a cold battlefield. The land was silent, broken only by the soft hiss of wind across metal wreckage. Smoke drifted upward from crushed ships and shattered tanks. Somewhere in that frozen graveyard, a young human medic, named Lena Cole, searched for signs of life. Her boots crunched on the snow as she moved carefully between the remains of a downed alien cruiser. The scanner in her hand beeped once, then stopped. She tapped it again. "Strange," she whispered. "That's a life signal. But it's faint." She followed the sound through sharp metal beams, crawling under a half-frozen engine. Her breath formed clouds in the cold. Then she heard it low, heavy breathing, like thunder buried under snow. Lena froze. That didn't sound human. She moved forward anyway. She had no weapon, only a med kit and the last adrenaline injector she carried. Her mission wasn't to fight. It was to save Dot. As she stepped into the shadows of the broken ship, she saw it, massive, wounded, beautiful, and terrifying. An alien dragon, nearly twice her height even while lying on its side, its wings torn and leaking dark blue blood. Its scales shimmered like cracked glass. Deep gashes covered its chest, and one of its eyes was closed shut. Her breath caught in her throat. "By the stars! You're alive?" The dragon didn't move at first. Then its remaining eye slowly opened, glowing softly. It looked at her not with rage, but with pain, with exhaustion. It was dying. Her fingers hovered over her communicator. Protocol said she should report it. Alert her unit. Let the soldiers come finish the job. But something in the dragon's gaze stopped her. There was no hate, no threat, only silence. Lena dropped to her knees. Her gloves shook as she opened her kit. "I don't know if this'll work on your kind, but you're not dying today." The dragon gave a weak snort, a puff of smoke rising from its nostrils. It didn't resist. "Hold on, okay? I need to slow your bleeding. Your heart rate's dropping." She worked fast, using pressure gel to close one wound, then pulling out her last adrenaline shot. She stared at it. This was it. Her final dose. If a soldier was hurt tomorrow, if she was hurt tomorrow. Still, she didn't hesitate. "You're lucky I'm stupid," she muttered, jabbing the injector into the thick muscle near his shoulder. The liquid hissed into his veins. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then his chest rose sharply. His claws twitched. His wings shifted just slightly in the snow. Lena pulled back, watching. The dragon's breathing grew stronger. He blinked, eye focusing again. He looked at her, really looked, and then to her shock, he spoke. "Why?" One word. Deep, broken, but clear. Spoken in her own language. Lena gasped. You can talk?" The dragon's mouth barely moved. "Why?" "Help me." Lena didn't know what to say. She stared at the injector in her hand, now empty. "Because you were dying," she finally said. "And I'm a medic. That's what I do." The dragon made a strange sound. It could have been a laugh or maybe a cough. "You are strange." For a human, Lena sat down next to him, heart still racing. She didn't know what came next. If Command found out, she could be punished, or worse. But none of that mattered right now. He was alive. And she'd saved him. She looked up at the falling snow. "Rest," she said quietly. "You're not safe yet. But you're not alone." Either. Suddenly, her communicator crackled. "Cole, report." "Where are you?" We saw heat signatures from that wreck. Her blood ran cold. They were coming. She looked at the dragon. He had barely enough strength to lift his head. If they found him, they'd kill him. If they found her with him, they'd think she betrayed them. But Lena didn't move. She placed her hand gently on the dragon's scales. "I'm not letting them take you." Outside, boots crunched on ice. She took a deep breath, then slowly reached for her cum. Ending suspense. Her fingers trembled over the device. If she stayed silent, they'd find her soon. If she spoke, she'd have to lie down and above her, The dragon whispered once more, so softly only she could hear. They must not know. I'm not the only one. Asterisk, the snowstorm grew stronger outside. Flakes howled past the broken ship like angry ghosts, and Lena Cole crouched low beside the injured alien dragon, heart-pounding. She had just lied over the cum. No survivors. Just wreckage and ice. I'm returning to base. The team believed her, for now. She clicked the device off and turned to the dragon, who still lay half-curled among the metal, breathing slow but stronger than before. The adrenaline was helping. Barely, he opened one golden eye. You lied for me. Lena didn't answer right away. She sat against the frozen wall, the cold biting through her uniform. Yeah, she said finally. I did. The dragon's body trembled. Not from pain, but from something else. You risked your people's anger. To save a dying enemy? Lena tilted her head. Are you my enemy? He fell quiet. No, he said at last, voice deep, but cracked. Not anymore. She looked over at him. Then stop calling yourself one. Silence passed between them. Only the wind outside howled. Then the dragon turned his head slightly. My name is Vorak of the Flameburn. Lena smiled. Slightly. I'm Lena, medic, not a fighter. You saved me, Lena the medic. A human saved a dragon cursed by his own kind. That caught her attention. Wait, cursed by your kind? What do you mean? Vorak closed his eyes, the fire in his chest rising and falling. I was once highborn, second wing of the fire throne, but I disobeyed. I refused to kill the helpless. I spoke peace, not war. Lena listened closely. They called me a traitor, burned my crest, chased me through the void. I crashed here, alone. Her eyes widened. So you weren't part of the attack force? He chuckled weakly. I was supposed to stop it, before it began. Lena's breath caught. Everything made sense now. The strange plasma marks on his body, the old scars, not fresh ones. This dragon had been hunted before he ever hit the snow, and the worst part? Her people thought they were hunting a monster. They were chasing the one who tried to protect them. Vorak looked at her again. You shouldn't have helped me. Lena stood and moved closer. Then stopped trying to die on me. I don't have long, not unless there's more adrenaline. Or human blood. She blinked. Human blood? Our species? Not so different. In times of great weakness we can accept blood. It gives energy, life, fire. Lena thought. For a moment. I have one unit left in my field pack, she said. But if I give it to you, I won't have anything for myself later. Then don't. She didn't answer. She walked to her pack, opened the pouch and took out the small, sealed blood unit. Vorak looked at her with confusion and something else, shame. You're still doing it? She nodded. I saved you once. I'll do it again. But why? He asked again. What are you hoping for? Gratitude? Power? A weapon? Lena paused. I don't want anything from you, she said quietly. I just want to believe this war doesn't own all of us. Vorak's expression softened. She connected the unit to a modified pressure needle, placing it near a vein along his shoulder. The blood began to flow in, drop by drop. A glow rose from his chest, soft and golden. His scales stopped shivering. His tail twitched. The healing had begun. Suddenly, her portable scanner beeped. Lena checked it, and her stomach dropped. There was something on orbit, something massive, something armed. A silent countdown appeared on her HU. 46 hours until detonation. Vorak saw the panic in her eyes. You see it, don't you? What is that? Lena asked. He sighed, steam curling from his nostrils. They call it the sun tear. A bio-bomb meant to burn a planet's core. My last act, before they cast me out, was to lock the code. She stared at him, horrified. And now, they don't know how to stop it, he said. But I do. Lena stood up fast. Then we have to move. We can't stay here. Suddenly, something crashed outside. A shadow moved past the broken metal. Lena grabbed her cum in panic. Another sound, another crash, and then a voice. A deep, growling voice through her earpiece. Lena, we know you. Found something. Her hands went cold. We'll search every wreck. Don't hide the beast. Her eyes locked with Vorax. If they found him now, it would all be over. Ending. Suspense. Vorax's wings trembled. He wasn't strong enough to fight yet. And Lena. She wasn't ready to betray her own, but her next move would change everything. Snow fell harder now. The broken wreckage groaned under the weight of ice, and the wind screamed like it carried warnings from the stars. Lena Cole crouched low, eyes fixed on Vorax, the wounded alien dragon who now carried more than pain. He carried a secret that could decide Earth's fate. Outside, her team was closing in. Her cum crackled again. Lieutenant, respond. We saw movement near the wreck. She pressed a hand to her earpiece, voice shaking. Copy. I'm checking one last compartment. She muted the link before they could reply, then turned to Vorax. He was breathing heavily again. The blood transfusion had helped, but not enough. His wounds were deeper than she thought. Energy pulsed faintly beneath his scales, like dim embers in dying coals. They're coming, she whispered. If they see you, they'll kill me, Vorax said, finishing her sentence. He tried to lift himself but collapsed again. His claws scraped the ground. I can't move fast enough. You must go. Leave me. Lena didn't answer. Instead, she walked to him, removed her gloves, and pressed her bare hand against his chest. His skin was cold to the touch, rough like stone, but trembling. I didn't save you just to watch you die again, she said firmly. Vorax closed his eyes. You don't understand. Even if I live, I am hunted. I carry codes in my blood, keys that can unlock or destroy the sun tier. She stared at him. Then we can't let you die. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open. There's one way to bond strength, a ritual. Forbidden now, but ancient. If you allow me, I can take strength through your blood, directly. And leave. A part of me in you, she stiffened. What does that mean? It's called a blood oath, a sharing of life force. I'll live, but you'll carry my mark, forever. Will it hurt? Yes, Vorax said softly. And after, your kind will never see you as one of them again. Lena paused. Her heart beat loud in her chest. She looked outside. Shadows moved. Flashlights swept over the snow. They were only meters away. Then she looked down at Vorax, this once feared creature, shivering like a dying flame, begging for mercy not with words, but with silence. She nodded. Do it. Vorax slowly lifted one claw, tracing a glowing line across his own chest. The cut hissed as blue light poured from it. Then he extended his claw, cutting Lena's palm gently. Their blood touched. Pain hit instantly. It wasn't fire. It was something deeper, ancient, like heat and sorrow and stars colliding in her bones. She gasped as the light swirled around them. Her veins glowed red. His scales turned silver. Their breathing cinched. Her body shook. Then it stopped. Vorax collapsed again, but this time stronger. His wings shifted. His eyes glowed golden bright, and Lena felt different. Her mind echoed with something new, a voice, his voice. Inside her thoughts, we are now flame-bound. She held her palm, which now had a faint scale-shaped mark. It shimmered, then faded. The sound of boots came closer. Too late. The wreck's side door was kicked open, and two human soldiers stepped. Inside, weapons raised. Lieutenant Cole. One shouted, aiming a rifle. Step away from the creature. She stood in front of Vorax, hand up. He's not hostile. He's a dragon. Are you out of your mind? He saved me. She yelled, lying in reverse. I was pinned. And he protected me. He's trying to defect. He knows about the bomb. The soldiers hesitated. The other one narrowed his eyes. Command said no survivors, no exceptions. He raised his gun, and Lena did the unthinkable. She pulled her med blaster and aimed it at her own. Put it down, she ordered. You're siding with him? I'm protecting Earth, she snapped. You shoot him, we all die. The soldier paused, then backed off. Fine, he growled. But this goes on record, Lena nodded. Gladly. The soldiers left, but not without glares. As they disappeared into the storm, Lena dropped to her knees beside Vorak again. He looked up at her, eyes filled with something she hadn't expected from a dragon. Gratitude and grief. You are now part of my soul, he whispered. And my war is now yours. She didn't speak. She only looked down at her palm, at the faint trace of glowing scales, and wondered what she had just become. Ending suspense. Suddenly, in the snow behind them, a shape moved. Not human, not dragon. Something else. Watching, waiting, and it had seen the bond asterisk. The snow had stopped falling. But silence was not peace. Lena Cole dragged herself through the ruins of the burned-out field hospital, her uniform ripped, her eyes bloodshot, and her body marked. Not just by battle, but by something ancient. She felt it now. Deep inside her. The bond. Every few seconds, a strange warmth pulsed in her chest, like a second heartbeat. It was Vorak. He lay hidden beneath an old cloaking tarp in the underground cargo section, too weak to move, but alive. Connected. To her, she could still feel his breathing. Like fire trapped behind glass. But that wasn't the only thing burning. Her command post had issued new orders, silent, cold orders. All officers are to return for bioscreening immediately. Blood scans. Required, no exceptions. They knew, or they suspected. And if they found the trace of alien DNA now flowing through her blood, she'd be court-martialed. Or worse. Dissected. She ducked into the medbay ruins. Her hands trembled as she searched through shattered crates. Most supplies were fried from the last blast, but she found what she needed: 3 emergency blood units, 1 pressure injector, 1 micro-cloaker. She stuffed them in a field pouch, heart pounding. A voice echoed from behind her. You're not supposed to be here. She turned fast, blaster raised. It was Major Drenner, her old superior. Face weathered, armor scuffed. But his voice was calm, too calm. I could report you, he said softly. You're hiding something. Lena didn't lower her weapon. Then report me. Drenner stepped closer. Unless you're doing what I think you're doing. Her grip tightened. He smiled faintly. Let me guess. It spoke to you. You saw something in it. You believed in mercy. Lena's voice was quiet. What would you have done? Shot it. Then you've already lost your humanity. Drenner studied her. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, without warning, he tossed her a cloak generator. You have 1 hour, he said. After that, you're on your own. She stared, stunned. Why? He didn't answer. Just turned and walked away. Maybe he still had a heart too. Back in the underground cargo hold, Vorak stirred under the tarp as she knelt beside him. His golden eyes flickered open. You came back. She gently pressed the new blood unit into his neck vein. I always was coming back. You smell of snow, ash, and fear. She laughed once. That's probably accurate. Vorak's breathing steadied. The new blood gave him more fire. His claws twitched, and a small wisp of heat rolled off his throat. You are changing, he said suddenly. She paused. What? The bond. It runs both ways. He slowly raised one claw toward her chest. You are not just my savior now. You are something more. Her skin tingled where he touched her, not with heat, but with a strange awareness. Like her body recognized him. What am I becoming? She asked. He didn't answer at first. Then softly, dragon blood, Flame-bonded. A guardian of truth. She shook her head. I'm just a medic. No, you were. Now, you are a flame in the darkness. She looked down at her hand again. The mark from the ritual was glowing. Brighter. Not fading. Growing. Suddenly, the cloaker alarm buzzed. Emotion. Alert. Lena looked at the scanner. Something was moving outside. Not human. Not dragon. It was tall, thin, multiple limbs, and heading straight toward them. Vorak sat up slowly, eyes going wide. No, not them. They followed me. Who? Lena asked, already loading her blaster. He growled. The Shade Hunters. They are neither dragon nor machine. They serve only death. They hate flame. Then they'll love me, she muttered. She grabbed a thermal charge and tossed it toward the exit shaft. It exploded in a silent white flash, sealing the door for now. But something screeched outside. Metal tore like cloth. The shadows weren't stopping. Lena turned to Vorak. Can you fly? He stood shakily, wings unfolding. Not far. Then, we go together. She climbed onto his back, her arms tight around his neck. His scales were hot now, alive with energy. I'll shield you with everything I have, he said. She leaned close. Then let's burn a path. With a roar, Vorak burst from the wreckage, wings blazing. Snow turned to steam beneath them. A beam of dark energy shot up from below, grazing his side. He didn't slow, but Lena looked down and saw the Shade Hunters, climbing the ruins like spiders. They weren't chasing anymore. They were hunting. Ending. Suspense. And one of them had her face, mirrored, hollow-eyed, a clone, watching her escape with a knowing smile. Vorak soared through the air, each wingbeat sending shockwaves through the icy clouds. Behind him, Lena clung tightly to his scaled neck, her heart pounding in rhythm with his wings. Snow blasted past them as if the wind itself was trying to tear them down, but neither looked back, not at the Shade Hunters, not at the wreckage below, not at the clone that wore her face, because now they were hunted by something even darker than war. Vorak winced, his side bleeding from the blast. His flight wavered. We're losing altitude, he growled. Just hold on, Lena shouted against the wind. Where are we going? To the Sky Temple, he said. It holds the override core. If I reach it, Earth lives. If I fail. He didn't finish. They crossed the shattered ridge of an old battlefield crater still glowing. Broken ships half buried in the snow. The Earth-Dragon War had once been fought here. Now, it would end here. Vorak spotted a rocky cliff and landed. Roughly, wings folding in pain. His legs buckled, but Lena jumped down and caught his shoulder. Easy, she said. You're burning up. I need time, he said. Time and fire. She looked around. No shelter, no backup, no warmth, except her. You gave me your blood, Vorak said. Now, your flame is part of mine. That is how I survived. She sat beside him, exhausted. And what if I don't have more to give? He turned, his eyes glowing softly in the twilight. You already did. Before she could reply, her hand flared. The flame mark from the blood oath pulsed again. Vorak's breathing deepened. The fire in his chest stirred. He stood. Larger, brighter, stronger. Steam rose off his wings as scales healed. His claws gleamed with new heat. He turned his golden gaze toward her, no longer weak. You have made me whole, he said. And now I make you mine, guardian of my soulfire. Lena blinked. What does that mean? But before he could answer, something howled in the distance. A scream that didn't belong to man or dragon. The sound twisted the wind. Vorak snapped his head toward the sound. They're near. A figure emerged over the ridge. It was her, the clone. Only. Not just her, its skin shimmered like glass. Veins of dark energy pulsed across its face, and its eyes? Hollow black. It spoke, not with a mouth, but with a voice inside her head. You were never meant to bond with him. You are corrupted. Lena stepped back. What are you? We are what comes after you fail, it whispered. We are the mirror of your weakness. Vorak stepped between them. Back, abomination. But the Shade Hunter clone raised one hand, and the cliff exploded behind them. Lena was thrown backward. Vorak leapt forward, wrapping her in his wings. When the dust cleared, the clone was gone, but carved into the stone wall were 6 words. The flame bonded must be undone. Lena shook her head. What does it mean? Vorak's face turned dark. It means they will stop at nothing. They don't want peace. They want extinction. He looked at her deeply. And they fear us together. She touched the side of his neck. Then we keep going. We make them fear for the right reasons. He nodded once. Then knelt. Climb on. The sky temple is close, but the air around it twisted. We must go above the clouds. She hesitated. You're still bleeding. I am fire now, he said. Yours. And mine. She climbed on. They rose into the air again, faster this time, stronger, higher, through the clouds, into a sky burning gold with twin moons. And there, floating above the mist, stood the sky temple, made of black stone, spiraling towers, ancient symbols glowing. Along its surface, it pulsed like a beating heart. Vorak slowed. That is where I was born, he said, and where I was cursed. Lena stared in awe. Then let's rewrite what they wrote. They hovered near a landing platform. The wind. Here was strange, too still. Too perfect, and then click. A targeting system locked onto them. Vorak jerked midair. They've activated the core defense. Lena's eyes went wide. Can you dodge? Hold on. He twisted his wings, but too late. A beam of red light tore through the air and struck them. Wind tore at Lena's hair as she fell. Fast, helpless, spinning through frozen air toward the black stone platform below the sky temple. The beam had struck Vorak mid-flight. He'd twisted to protect her again, but now they were both paying the price. Below her, the massive temple loomed, glowing with ancient power, pulsing like a heartbeat made of stars. She reached for anything, air, memory, hope. Then shadows wrapped around her. Not death. Wings. Vorek caught her, blood pouring from his back where the energy beam had scorched his scales. His wings trembled, the membranes tattered, but he held her close. You're safe, he breathed. You're not, she whispered, staring at his burns. He landed hard on the edge of the sky temple, his claws digging into the ancient stone. It hummed beneath them, as if it recognized his return. The doors of the temple opened on their own. Inside, silence and a blue fire flickering without flame. Symbols in a language Lena didn't know hovered in the air like ghosts. I've never seen tech like this, she whispered. Vorak nodded. It's not tech, it's memory, left behind by the first flame bonded. He limped forward. Each step left a scorch mark on the floor. Lena followed, her eyes fixed on glowing symbols. One caught her attention. She reached out to touch it. And suddenly, everything changed. A burst of light, not bright, but deep, like sinking into a pool of stars. Images flew through her mind. Dragons flying in golden skies. Humans walking beside them, not as enemies but as equals. Warriors, healers, lovers. A great betrayal, a bloodline torn, a memory of a human woman once flame bonded. And a warning, if one ever returns, marked by mercy, bound by blood, the fire will awaken again. Lena gasped and fell backward. Vorak caught her. You saw it too? He asked. She nodded, shaken. There were others like us. Long ago. He looked at her with awe. You carry her memory. She blinked. What? You're not just bonded, Vorak said. You're her descendant. The first flame-bearer's line didn't end. It hid and waited. She shook her head. That's not possible. I'm just a medic. Vorak's voice was calm. No, You are the key. That's why the Shade Hunters want you gone. That's why the clone looks like you. They were created to erase the last light. Suddenly, the room grew cold. The doors behind them slammed shut. And from the shadows emerged something twisted, massive, armored in pieces of dragon bone and steel. The machine-dragon. It walked like Vorak, but its eyes glowed red. Its voice echoed. With poison, you should not have come here, traitor. Vorak stepped in front of Lena, flames curling at the corners of his mouth. You were destroyed. I was remade, it growled. By the ones who believe in order without weakness. Lena raised her blaster. Step aside, rust breath. The machine laughed. I am your future, girl. You think fire is strength? Fire dies, steel lasts. It charged. Vorak met it mid-run, slamming into it with a roar. The two dragons tumbled. Across the temple floor, claw and flame against blade and metal. Sparks flew. Roars echoed. Stone cracked. Lena ran to the central console, a glowing orb, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. The bomb code core. She placed her hand on it. It scanned her palm, then hesitated. Genetic match, partial, incomplete flame bond. Vorak screamed. Metal claws slicing into his side. Blood splattered across the wall. Lena turned, eyes wild. What do I do? He roared, the bond, finish it. She looked down at her palm. The mark was glowing, but not complete. Her bloodline. Her choice, without waiting. She drew her knife, cut her palm again, pressed it to the console. Light exploded across the temple. The orb turned gold. Override accepted. Sun-tier disarm sequence started. Outside, in orbit, the biobomb began to flicker. Its outer shell cooled. Its countdown slowed. And the fire of Earth began to rise again. Vorak roared one last time and hurled the machine dragon into the wall, where it shattered into pieces. He collapsed beside Lena, blood pooling beneath him. You did it, he said weakly. She dropped beside him, shaking. So did you. I was born of fire, he said. But I lived because of your mercy. She reached for him, placed her hand over his heart. You're not dying, she said. I don't plan to, he said, smiling faintly. You owe me a life now, remember? She laughed through tears. I pick where we land. Lena tumbled off. His back, falling toward the black tower below. Vorak roared, spinning mid-air to catch her, but she was falling fast, and as her vision blurred, she saw something rising from the temple. Something wearing dragon armor. But not Vorak's kind. This one was made of machine and bone, and it spoke her name. The Sky Temple shook. Not from war, but from something deeper, a memory awakening, a legacy resurfacing. The orb that Lena had touched now pulsed with golden fire, flowing through the walls like veins of light. Vorak lay beside her, battered and bleeding, but alive. His scales shimmered faintly, his fire dimmed but not gone. Lena didn't move. Her hand still rested on the core, its warmth echoing inside her bones. She could feel it now, all of it, the history. The pain. The hope. But then, the light flickered, and a voice, her own voice, but wrong, whispered behind her. You stopped one, but the others are waking. She turned slowly. There stood. Her clone. It wasn't wearing armor anymore. It wore her clothes, copied down to the tear in her jacket, the blood on her hand, the scar above her eye, but its face was hollow, lifeless, like someone had tried to build her without understanding. What made her human? I don't understand, Lena said. The clone stepped closer, eyes glowing. You were meant to die. You were meant to be forgotten. Why me? Because you carry something dangerous, choice, mercy, bonds. You are the last echo of the flame-burn humans. And if you live, the galaxy changes. Lena's heart pounded. So, this was never just about the dragon. No, the clone said. It was always about you. You are the final variable. Suddenly, Vorak stirred behind her. You won't touch her, he growled, rising on shaky legs. The clone turned. You can barely stand. Then I'll fall protecting her. The clone raised its hand. Light crackled, the same energy that powered the bomb. But Lena stepped forward. I'm not running. She looked down at her flame mark, now fully glowing, not gold, but white-hot, like a living sun. She pressed it to her chest. The light surged, and then split. A ring of flame burst outward from her body, throwing the clone back against the temple wall. The orb glowed brighter. The air shook. From the ceiling, ancient glyphs blazed to life. Flame bearer confirmed. Line restored. Final command authorized. Lena's voice echoed with a power not her own. Disarm all cores. Return the fire to the people. In orbit, far above, 2 hidden bombs blinked. Then darkened. Their lights faded. Their weapons died. The war that had hovered like a blade ended. Vorak stared at her in awe. You've become the Flamebinder. Lena turned to him, her eyes still glowing faintly. No, she said. I'm still just a medic. He gave a weak, fire-filled chuckle. But now I know what I'm meant to heal. Hours later, outside the temple, the stars burned bright. Vorak stood with Lena on the edge of the world. Wings tucked, body trembling but strong. The skies were quiet now. No more bomb alerts. No more orders. Just the hum of life returning. Where will you go now? She asked. He looked far across the mountains. There are others like me. Dragons who questioned war, who were silenced. He looked at her. I will find them, and I will tell them. A human gave me her fire. Lena smiled, then turned away. But Vorak stepped forward. There's one more thing, he said. He knelt before her and placed his claw gently over her hand. In my people's law, when one gives life, gives blood, and burns beside another, that bond is sacred, permanent. Lena blinked. What are you saying? He bowed his head. I am flame-bound to you. By blood, by choice, by soul. If you will have me, I am yours. She stared at him, heart racing. The war was over. The galaxy was quiet, but in this moment, she had to choose. Lena stepped forward, placed her hand on his claw, and whispered, Then let's write a new law. Vorak looked up, stunned, then smiled. The skies glowed above them, not with fire or fear, but hope. A new story spread. Of a dragon who turned from war, of a human who carried fire in her veins, of 2 beings from different worlds who rewrote destiny together. And in the ruins of an old temple, where war once lived, the flames never died. She gave him mercy. He gave her fire. And together, they gave the stars something they had never seen before, peace.